A decades-old cold case, a bold confession, and a stunning arrest. Here's what we know about the man accused of killing Tupac Shakur. Few celebs and artists are as beloved as Tupac Shakur. Perhaps one of the most influential and talented rappers to have lived, Tupac remains present in everything, from pop culture and movies to art and clothing, despite his death in 1996. To say he spit fire would be an understatement. Part of his legacy stems from the fearless way he strung words together, mixing rhythm and beat with equally powerful language. However, much of Tupac's allure also stems from the mystery surrounding his tragic and sudden death in 1996. The rapper, who hailed from a family steeped in Black liberation efforts as part of the Black Panther Party, was on his way to a club when he was shot multiple times and died several days later. Some moments prior to the murder remain question marks, as do incidents following his death that could possibly be related. At one point, Sergeant Kevin Manning, the officer who led Tupac's case after his death, even told a reporter for the Las Vegas Sun in 1997 that Tupac's murder may not be solved. However, over 27 years later, we're finally learning more and getting closer to some answers. While many have suspected the fight between Tupac Shakur and Orlando Baby Lane Anderson was the scuffle that led to the killing, there are other theories that have endured. More than 2 decades following Tupac's death, Suge Knight came forward saying he suspected the shooters may have been after him, according to the source. Knight also claimed that the killer wasn't Anderson as previously suspected, but rather Reggie Wright Jr., Death Row Records security chief, and his ex-wife, Sharitha. If this were true, it would have made Tupac's murder actually a failed attempt at killing Death Row Records' co-founder and an attempted coup. Knight claimed that Wright Jr. was also involved in the notorious B.I.G.'s death that followed. FBI documents later released suggested that Tupac received death threats from the Jewish Defense League, further complicating possible motives for his death. However, after over 27 years since Tupac Shakur's fatal shooting, a man named Dwayne Keith Davis was arrested on September 29th in Las Vegas. According to the authorities, Davis had previously claimed he was in the front seat of the Cadillac that drove up to Tupac and Marion Suge Knight on September 7, 1996, but hadn't been charged until now.
Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
The indictment states that the shooting was an act of retaliation against Tupac and Suge Knight. While Davis wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, Lieutenant Jason Johansson said in a news conference that he was behind it.
Dwayne Davis was the leader and shot caller of the Southside Compton Crips.
Following news of Davis's arrest, Tupac's sister, Sachua Set Shakur, wrote on Instagram, "This is no doubt a pivotal moment. The silence of the past 27 years surrounding this case has spoken loudly in our community." She went on to say that her brother's death, quote, matters and should not go unsolved or unrecognized, and concluded, "We are seeking real justice on all fronts." As more details came out surrounding Tupac's death, it became clear why Davis sought revenge against the late rapper. While Orlando Baby Lane Anderson was suspected of killing Tupac during the initial investigation, he got off on inconclusive evidence. It turns out that he was the reason for the shootout. As reported by CNN, the beef between Tupac's crew and Anderson spurred a revenge plot by the latter's uncle, Dwayne Keith Davis, that was related to a fight. While Davis wasn't there during the scuffle, he learned of the fight later on and wanted vengeance. He acquired a gun and gave it to one of the passengers in the backseat of the Cadillac, but reports initially didn't identify who the shooter was. Davis confessed to the incident in 2009, but authorities were unable to use the information provided because of an agreement between him and the police. According to the New York Times, Davis confessed that the gun wielder was in fact his nephew, who was later killed in 1998 in an unrelated shooting. Davis, who is known by his straight name, Kefi D, wrote about the incident in his 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend, providing cops with evidence of his involvement. It still wasn't enough. A prosecutor said in court, what was lacking was admissible evidence to establish this chain of events. He admitted within that book that he did acquire the firearm with the intent to go hunt down Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight. Davis is now awaiting trial, but he has said that he isn't afraid of prison. He was previously incarcerated for around 15 years.
If they want to come put me in jail for life, it's just something I got to do.